I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction. Here with the cattle market summary for the week ending October the 6th, where it looks like we've got a fall rise in the market. Getting in here deep into fall, and we know we've got a lot of cattle to sell, a lot of calves to sell, but really haven't seen a big run of them until this past week. But you know, guys have been scrambling trying to get the last of the true yearlings, but kind of been a little bit lax on buying the calves. But ready or not, here the calves come, and you saw in some Northern Plains premium markets there that they were buying calves at astronomical prices. I think as we start getting into the bulk of the calves, it'll sure weigh on things, but I think people are ready to start buying calves. It's the weather's kind of changing. I know that here in the Amarillo, Texas area, they're calling for a freeze early this week. Which is earlier than up in the Corn Belt and places, but that will help so much kill a lot of these airborne illnesses that make it tough to straighten these cattle up. And now that we've got just a little over a month before guys will start turning out on wheat in a major way, so they'll start getting in and buying those southeastern calves and putting their orders in and picking around on the Okie type local Southern Plains calves too. But you look at the board for last week, live cattle December contract. Monday was down $1.82. Tuesday was back up $1.47. Wednesday up just 2 cents. Thursday up $1.12, and Friday up 87 cents, which made your live cattle for December end the week at $116.92, which was up $1.67 from the previous week. And your October spot live contract ended the week at $111.02. So you know, your cash market tried to run it down, but not quite, and still kind of suffering a negative basis for the hedgers. But November feeder cattle, Monday was down $2.40, Tuesday back up $2.70, Wednesday down 80 cents, Thursday up $1.35, and Friday up 90 cents to end the week with November feeders at $155.75, which was $1.75 higher than the end of the previous week. Your fats went pretty much all week and didn't trade anything. Through Thursday's close, there was only 1,500 head sold in all your 5-area feeding region, but finally late on Friday they started selling some fat cattle, and it was mostly $1.09, especially in the Southern Plains yards. And but the Northern Plains was able to squeeze a little more out of them, $1.10, especially up there in the western side, western Nebraska, Wyoming, Colorado, in that area. And traditionally they're running $1 or so behind, but they've been bringing an extra $1 steady to $1 higher than the rest of the market here for several months. And there's one plant up there in northeast Colorado that's probably feeling the pain of that, always having to give a little more. But it's easier to give $1 more for local cattle than have to pay $3 or $4 or $5 freight to get them from another region up there to get them slaughtered. But you look at your slaughter for last week, it was not bad, but it paled in comparison to the previous week, which was a record for the 2017. But 632,000 for the week is not bad. That's 16,000 less than the record week before, but 22,000 more than the same week a year ago. Box beef cutout values on the average of last week's trade had choice carcasses at $197.39, up $1.58, and spreading out that choice select spread, and you had your select cutouts $188.57, down $1.73, and that spread is now almost $9. As you look at your feeder markets for ending the last week, real-time index on Beef Market Central ended the week at 153.76, and that was actually 42 cents lower. But the main reason for that is your big fleshy calves weighing in the 7s up in the Northern Plains, and they're starting to creep into that RTI value on the 12-state average, and that's going to pull it down a little bit, even though your cash feeders for the week were really firm to $3 higher, although your calves still kind of steady to $3 lower. Now, I'm not counting in there some of these wild markets like Valentine or Bassett, Nebraska, or a place where you had a collection of farmer feeders that thought there weren't going to be any more cattle to be had again this year. But some of those places, you know, they don't have a sale every week, and you can call those things about as much higher as you want to. But your all commercial, consistent, heavy volume markets through the Midwest and the Plain States, that's about how they sold. You know, we had a lot of rain around last weekend, and kind of at the tail end of last week, and clearing off over the weekend. But tell you, in the Southern Plains, there was a rumor of a fella, and he was supposedly a farmer or rancher, and he was heard to have muttered the words that he'd had all the rain that he wanted. They had formed a posse to try to tar and feather him, but it was too wet to get out and get around and try to find him. But they will still investigate that. But right now, that wheat is going to pop this week, but we really could have used a little bit more warm weather. It's supposed to really cool off down here in the Southern Plains, just having highs in the 50s and 60s, which, oh, it'll grow that wheat a little bit, but not like it would if it had stayed nice and sunny in the 70s and 80s for a little bit longer. But you look at some of those wild markets I was talking about. Bassett, Nebraska on Wednesday, just crazy prices. You know, $4 or $5 freight could surely save people $15 a hundred if they would branch out a little bit. But they're particular in what they want. They want those good Sand Hills and Nebraska cattle. You know, we talked about that earlier in the week. A lot of the guys that feed them say they might be the highest cattle going in, but they're a lot of times the cheaper cattle coming out, because a lot of them will gain over 5 pounds a day, and the quality of them is just out of this world. They don't get any better anywhere else. But included in Bassett's offering there, 240 head of big steers weighing 1047, bring 149.75. Out west in Valentine, Nebraska, they had a big calf sale on Thursday there, and selling ballers, not weaned, not long time hard weaned, long tailed, split tail cattle, but no, balling calves, and they might have a decent weigh up, but they're going to have some flesh to them because they're coming right off mama. But 100 head of 517 pound steers in Valentine bring 205. 144 head weighed 593 at 203.50. Later in the week, back down here on Earth, Bluegrass Stockyards in Richmond, Kentucky had a real good sale on Friday. 10:30 in the morning, they sell a load of 726 pound steers for $162.95. And that's your week's markets from a home DV auction office here in Canyon, Texas. We'll talk to you next week.